Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome to an honest review of 2021's A Quiet Place Part 2. We have already reviewed Part 1 on the channel, so go and check that out if you would like. But for now, myself and Stu are going to dive into this one, the direct sequel to the first film, which follows immediately on from the events of a world where there are some alien monsters that are attracted to sound. And now we are continuing the world of the Abbott family, where we have Emily Blunt as the mother and her 3 kids now, as they've just had a newborn baby, and they go out into the world to try and see if they can find any kind of help. Stu!
Hello.
What did you make of A Quiet Place Part 2?
Well, do you remember what I thought of Quiet Place Part 1?
That it was a colander of plot holes.
I think that this film followed suit. Now, I love this film. I genuinely think this is a good film. But, in fact, let me start with a positive. The bus scene at the start with the alien, slowly climbing out of it is fucking beautiful. It's such a well put together scene. And the way that they flip between sound and no sound to show, different perspectives is actually incredible. And that use of audio to, tell the story and make you feel what people are feeling is what I really loved about this film. I think it was so well done. But it is just filled with stupid decisions again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump about through the film here, but you've got the daughter that just goes on a fucking suicide mission, or you've got the son who decides he's going to go exploring when everyone else is out doing things instead of just doing it when he could have been protected, or I don't know, on the island where that dad drives the car away beeping like mad to lure the alien away, and then gets to a car garage and just stands there talking at full volume, knowing full well what happens if you fucking do it.
There's
so many bits of this. The characters just make stupid choices now and then for absolutely no reason. It's like the daughter on the train as well. Yeah, we get you're deaf and you can't really hear what you're doing, but you probably realise if you're pushing open a door that won't move, it's going to make some noise when it fucking moves.
She's barging into the door and she can see a first aid kit that she's going to try and get. The door is stuck. Obviously you'd think, okay, there must be something blocking this door. Turns out it's a dead guy, but it could be anything. It's got a likely chance that whatever you push is going to fall over and make loads of noise, which is ultimately what fucking happens.
It's just silly things like that. Again, the radio plays Beyond the Sea over and over again as some hint to anyone that hears it that aliens can't swim and you should go, onto the water or whatever. But these aliens have never been shown to understand human language. So why would you just not, if you can play something on loop, why would you not record yourself saying, the aliens can't swim, use boats, go to fucking islands? Why would you just play some cryptic song over and over again?
That's also true. It's because there is an actual radio station on the island, and it's just got the vinyl record of Beyond the Sea set up. The daughter in the film looks at where the radio frequency's coming from and is able to trace its origin to be okay, cool, there must be some form of life there. But she has the idea that if she can get her hearing aid, which they've learned the high frequencies it produces can make the monsters vulnerable or make them at least deter or run away, if she can get her hearing aid to the radio broadcast, then she can potentially broadcast that sound to anyone who is listening to that radio station. So she's got that idea in her head, but she just legs it.
That's what I mean. It's just where are the fucking Navy or just anyone in boats? Surely some people would have taken to the water just naturally, right?
Well, there's a group of survivors who are very dangerous, and they're their heads are gone, they're a bit psychopathic, and they're living in the harbour, aren't they?
Well, exactly, right? But that makes no fucking sense either. So why the fuck did these pirates just not sail to the fucking island to be safe instead of holding up the docks to rob people when all those aliens are around and could hear you? And to be honest, that whole scene can fuck right off anyway, because...
Are we on about with I haven't even talked about Cillian Murphy. I guess we'll do a quick segue into him. So yeah, he is the male lead in this film as the dad, John Krasinski. He died in the previous film. We do get to spend a little bit of time with him though at the start, because it takes us back to the first day of the outbreak, and we learn that he and Cillian Murphy are buddies basically. And Murphy's character's name is Emmett, and after everything's happened, the family are saved by Emmett, and that's who they spend time with for the rest of the film. And when the daughter goes off to find fucking Bobby Darin at the end of this fucking radio, he's sent to go and like get her basically and bring her back to Emily Blunt. But yeah, they're on the harbour with this gang of people, of pirates. And so Stu, let's continue where we were just left off there with the scene of Cillian Murphy sign language.
I don't want to bash this film too hard because I genuinely enjoyed it, but this scene doesn't make much sense. These pirates suddenly appear and they take all their weapons and they take everything, and it turns out they've taken the girl's hearing aid. Cillian Murphy decides he's going to use sound to get away from these guys, so he's already earlier in the film learned the sign for dive, so he signs to her to dive into the water, and as he does, he kind of holds one guy up, she dives into the water, he makes loads of noise, of course Alien comes, destroys everyone, and Cillian Murphy jumps into the water as well, while everyone's being torn to shreds by said alien. However, the bit that really winds me up is when Cillian Murphy is under the water for God knows how many minutes. He pops up at the end and then he pulls her fucking hearing aid out of his mouth. And
yeah.
He jumped backwards into that water with his mouth shut. And obviously as he did it, he must have put that hearing aid in. Gets out and just produces it like a hero. That bit wound me up so much because it was so fucking stupid.
On top of that, what I want to talk about too is that when he does the hand signal for dive, it's not a cryptic signal, it's just making the fucking movement of diving. Yeah. So why would the pirates not alright, probably planning of diving in the water here?
On the face of it, it's a quite good scene, but it's just filled with such stupidity, isn't it? In real life, if this shit was happening, you'd probably panic and make some stupid decisions. But this film and the first one is just filled with them. It's still a very enjoyable film, both of them are.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree. I fucking love the pair of them.
I don't know, it almost felt to me like a bit of a bridge between the first movie and a potential third.
Yeah, I agree with that too. This film, after a certain point, becomes a film of two halves. You've got the half of Cillian Murphy and the deaf daughter going to the island, and then you've got the other half, the mum and the son, who are looking after the newborn baby in the the hideout that Cillian Murphy's in, which is in an industrial kind of furnace factory place. Mm-hmm. She fucks off to go back to the pharmacy from the first film, which, by the way, at the very, very start of the film, and the dad goes to get some fruit and he walks past the rocket ship toy.
Yes, that was one I felt very bad.
That was brilliant. And the mom goes to the pharmacy, and on the way she kind of drops her wedding ring off on the little burial site that they've got for the youngest son that they had who died in the first film. And she goes to get some medicine, and she goes to get some oxygen or some air canisters, because the newborn baby mostly lives in a little box with a mask on. But obviously this oxygen is of limited supply and it's hard to get a hold of. She gets these two tanks back to the factory and finds that there's a monster who's going after the son, because the son, like a fucking idiot, also comes out the furnace part to go exploring, and he, sees a dead body, gets scared, attracts a monster. So Emily Blunt gets there, and she's got these two fucking really hard to find oxygen cans which will keep your newborn baby boy alive.
Yeah.
And she decides to blow one up, knowing that their only weakness is the high frequency. They can't be destroyed with guns or bullets or tanks or flame or bombs. So why does she fucking bother trying? She's just wasted a can of oxygen.
And there's no way, right, in that situation, you would think, I'm going to blow this up because it will set off the water sprinklers, and then I can hide under the water and it won't be able to hear me, and I'll be able to get round it and get down to it. You would never think like that. You would think, I'm going to pick this rock up and I'm going to throw it across the room and it will look over there and then I'll go for it.
Yeah. It's a film series that prides itself on scrutinous attention to detail, like in the first with all the ways that they were suppressing sounds, like the fluffy board game pieces or walking on flour. But then in this film, there's so much less of that. And also, since you are this scrutinous with all the tiny details, how are you letting so many inconsistent details slip through the cracks to the point where they're noticeable? I feel like part 2 had an opportunity to right those wrongs, and it just kinda didn't. It just feels it's got the same strengths and the same issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that overall for me, I'm interested to see where they could take it if they should choose to. I think that the child actors, Millicent Simmons, who's the daughter, and Noah Jupe, who's the son, I think they're even better in this film than they were in the first.
Yes.
Especially Millicent Simmons. I think she is fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I do think the two kids were really great. Ignoring all the plot holes, ignoring all the stupid decisions, this film is fantastic. With them in, still a very strong film, but just a bit frustrating at times. I think a third part of this series is going to be fantastic. I do hope, though, that they stop there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to go any further.
Yeah, I can see them continuing to try and milk this. The baby's grown up, and these kids are teen. Like, I don't give a shit by that point.
With that concept, there's only so far you can take it. There's only so many creative ways they can think of trying to avoid making sound.
But yeah, no, yeah, as I say, great films, silly plot holes, silly decisions, but I'd look forward to a part 3 if they bring it out.
Yep, and we would look forward to it on Unleash the Ghouls, as we will probably review it. And by probably, I mean fucking rights we will.
We'd look forward to you hitting that subscribe button, clicking the notification bell, clicking like, and leaving us a comment if you enjoyed this episode. But for now, Ghoul Gang, I was over to you there, Connor.
Oh, sorry.
I thought you'd take it. I thought you'd take it from me.
Nice segue. Yeah, so thank you for watching this week's episode of Friday Fright Time. You will have noticed that this one has been a Kofi-less episode again. What's he like, the silly cunt?
Yeah, nah, mate, he was here. He's just been very quiet the whole time.
Oh, right. I'll try and do an impression of him to prove that that's right. Yeah, so this film was really good. Really like Cillian Murphy as Emmett. And yeah, why did this film happen?
That's pretty good, you know. I'm happy about it.
I know, because it was him. Because that was him. That wasn't me.
Oh, thanks, Kof.